Hello my people, and welcome you back again to this channel. If this is your first time, I welcome you back specially. And if this is not your first time, you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you. Now, what are we discussing? I want us to discuss some uh, important things, some benefits you have as an immigrant into United States of America. Even if you're undocumented, many people believe that when they are undocumented, they don't have any rights. They don't have any benefits. But that's not so. There are still many benefits, even as undocumented immigrant in United States. And because many people don't know, many people miss out of this opportunity. And this makes their life a bit more difficult than it should be. But if you get the right information, you know what to do. You'll be able to access your benefits, natural benefits, things that will make your life easier without stress in the United States. However, I need to state that this may vary from state to state. And I've dropped a content before where I elaborated on which states are better, where undocumented immigrants are better protected from law, and they can access some benefits. So you can check that content. I've dropped it before now. You can check through my content and see the states that are very good for immigrants, especially undocumented immigrants. So what are the things you need that will make your stay easy? One, you need an ID card. That is the basic. That is very necessary, because most of the things you want to do, they will ask you for an identity. That is one of the things you must get. And when we are talking of ID, we are talking of photo ID, where they will be able to see your face, where they will be able to know your age, and some other information that will be on the ID card. You may use your international passport. It's allowed identity that they can take, but you may not be able to carry your international passport everywhere, and it is not even very good for you to carry your international passport everywhere you go. So you need an ID in the United States. And I'm taking New York for an instance. In New York, there are two types of ID card you can get. You have the city ID card. If you are living in the city of New York, that one is very easy to get. You don't need much stress to get that. All they need to get from you is proof of residence, the evidence that you are living in New York City. And what most people do is that they just maybe write a letter to themselves, post it, and when they receive the letter, it's an evidence that they have received a letter in a particular residence. That means they live there. And I think with their international passport, which is a photo ID, they can get that. That is one ID. But that ID is limited to the city of New York. You can't use it. It is not an ID that they recognize outside the city of New York. So that means if you leave the city and go to other places, they may not recognize it for certain things. So, and that ID card you can get is state ID. State ID. That is a bit more standard, generally acceptable ID card, but that may be a bit difficult to get. Not that it's difficult, but it's not as easy as that of city ID card. So how do you get state ID card? Because that gives you an opportunity over the city ID card. There are certain areas you can use state ID. For example, if you want to buy an something that is alcoholic beverage, they may want to prefer state ID, because it's a state law that before you can purchase alcohol, you must be 21 and above. So they may want a state ID. If you want to buy some other things too, or do some other businesses, or there are certain areas your city ID cannot take you to. They cannot give you access to certain buildings, but state ID can give you. So you need a state ID. So generally, if your visa has not expired, you can use that as a means of procuring state ID. So if you need city ID, you need state ID. However, as state ID is better than city ID in most cases, city ID too has its own advantages. For example, it is an access, automatic access into the library. Any library you go to in the city of New York, you have the state ID, it's automatic. And it gives you certain opportunity. If you enter the museum, I think the zoo too, city zoo, I think you can use it free of charge. And some exhibitions, you can use the city ID. But if you don't have the state ID, maybe you are not qualified to get the state ID, people still find a way of getting state recognized IDs. There are still some identity card you can get that are state issued and can do the work of state ID. And one of them is the driver's license. So if you can secure a driver's license, it is a good way of getting state recognized ID. So where you cannot use the city ID, you can use driver's license as state ID, because the license is issued by the state. But in some cases too, some people may not be able to get the state ID. There's still a way. There's still a way. It depends on who you are talking to and who is guiding you. There's still a way. And one of the ways, or the way to get another state recognized ID card is to get a driver's permit. Driver's permit, which we call learner's permit. When you get driver's permit, it is as good as state ID, because it's the state that issues that one too. And the only difference between driver's license and driver's permit is just the name. Every other things are the same. So you can get that too as a means of state-wide recognized ID. So you need an ID. The problem most immigrants, especially undocumented immigrants, always have is that they don't talk to the right people. If you talk to the right people, if you meet the right people, there's almost everything you can get that you need. So you need an ID. You may need your city ID, you may need your state ID. And those are the ways you can get those IDs. Because without IDs, you can hardly do anything serious. The state must have your ID. Another thing you must have is bank account. You must have a bank account, because of course you know that most of their transactions are tilting towards cashless. So you need an account. If you work, if you are able to work, they pay you check, or they do direct transfer for you. So you need a bank account. How do you go about it? The easiest one of all those bank accounts is Bank of America. They are a bit lenient in their conditions. And what are the conditions? Of course, you need a photo ID. And lest I forget, you may need to, because you are coming in, you may not have all those. You can, if you have any photo ID nationally issued from your country, from Nigeria, like the driver's license, there are places, those things can help you process certain things, especially in opening bank account. So you need a bank account. You can use your international passport as a photo ID, and there are some other documents like proof of address that you are resident within the state, and you can open an account. I think as little as $25, you can open Bank of America account. It is not the only one that you can open, but that seems to be the cheapest and the easiest. So you need a bank account. Anything you want to do, you likely need a bank account to transact everything you will be doing. Another thing you may need is very, very important. This is very, very important. God forbid bad thing, you are sick, you need health insurance. You cannot be paying out of pocket because health services are very, very expensive. Health services are very, very expensive. So you need health insurance. Generally, people will say you may not be able to get health insurance. But I tell you, speak to the right person. You will have health insurance. In fact, in some cases, you may even have health insurance better than people who are legally resident, depending on who you are talking to. Most of people who are legally resident, who are citizens, do what we call co-pay. They pay part of their bills, health bills, government will pay part. Although what they'll be paying will be little, but they pay something. But even if you are undocumented, you can have your own completely free. Completely free. So you need health insurance, and depending on who you are talking to, you can get it. If people say you cannot get it, talk to other people, you can get it. And there's no crime in approaching people, in talking to people. Most states that I've mentioned in my earlier content that are immigrant friendly, you can talk to anybody. Government officials, police, anybody. If they don't know, they don't know. And because you are undocumented immigrant does not mean that they will arrest you or they punish you for that. No, that's not their job. That's not their job. If they cannot help you, they say they can't help you. But I will advise you, you mix with people who have not stayed too long in the country, because those are a bit settled. They don't know what and what goes and what does not go, because rules change. So mix with people who are a bit uh, better than you, not people who have already settled, have become citizens for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. No, they don't know what happens. So mix with people that are ahead of you, maybe a year or 2 years. So they'll be able to guide you. I tell you sincerely, depending on who you are talking to, you can get health insurance 100% free. You need that too, because to get an ambulance is about 1,500 US dollar. You cannot afford that. Not to talk of other things the doctors will charge you, and their charges are high. So you need a health insurance. Talk to people. If you talk to people, they can't help you. Keep talking to people. You need it, and you have to get it. It is possible. I can tell you that, depending on who you are talking to, as I said. Another thing you need to is, of course, you need a good phone, because you need applications on that phone. You need Google Map that will guide you. You are new in the country, or you are not used to their ways, you are not new to their system, the way their roads are, the way their streets are. So you need Google that will help you. And don't be afraid. You must get lost, and you must be able to retrace your step. You are new. So in trains, in buses, and when you are walking, definitely you will miss your ways in a few occasions, but that is why you need Google Map. You need a phone of Google Map, and you need to download a lot of applications that will help you, guide you, where you can get trains, where you can get buses, how you can move, how you can get taxi, how you can get Uber, how you can get Lyft, and all those services. So you need a good phone which can help you. That one has nothing to do with government. That is for your personal use. And when you get all these things you can get from government, you are good to go. And finally, of course, very, very important, very, very important, you must know how to get a job. By standard, when you are not living here, illegal immigrant or documented immigrant, by law, you are not supposed to work. But there are cities, there are states, excuse me, that I've mentioned before, that are called sanctuary states, that are a bit friendly, protecting undocumented immigrants, where you can get something doing, something good. It depends on those who you are talking to. If you talk to right people, you get a job, and you can be going. So if you have all those things and you have people around who can guide you, your stay in United States will be a lot easier than what most people experience, and they are finding it difficult. As good as US may be, there are some people who came in and had to go back out of frustration because they are not talking to the right people and they are not living in states where they need to live when they are new. There are states you don't start your life in United States. You cannot find life easy. But if you live in some states, I mentioned New York, I mentioned New Jersey, I mentioned Chicago, I mentioned Maryland, Texas, and stuff like that, you will find life a lot better and you'll be able to achieve your aim so that things that you plan will be within reach. That's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for watching this content up to this moment. Remain blessed till I upload another content. Thank you.